The next one, you know, we may not have heard the last of the January 2024 explosion that rocked Old Bodija in Ibadan, Oyo State. Victims of the blast and their families have renewed calls for compensation and continued support. This is coming even as all lingering controversy surrounding a 30 billion naira intervention fund is raging. In a tense situation like this, one thing is clear: bitter people are not interested in what you do, or what you say, but in what you intend to hide. BKO.
Yeah, I think that the governor of Oyo State has to do better on this Bodija explosion. Especially now that we know that government made money available, the central government made money available so that succor can be provided for these people. But what we hear about money made available is not good enough.
Coming from a former governor.
It's not good. No, what we know.
Okay.
Because what we have seen, because even the governor has not denied that money was made available to him. What they are saying, oh, we got 30 billion. The 30 billion is still intact. What is the meaning of that? Is the money released for it to be intact, or for you to go to great lengths to ease the pains of people?
Correct.
It's not, money is not released for it to be fixed in a bank account somewhere, and then you say, oh, it's still intact. Nobody wants to hear such stories. What people want to hear is, what have you done to ease the pain of these people, to lessen their burden?
Oh, yeah.
It is not easy to build a house at this time. And when people lose their homes to something that could have been avoided, the pain can be extraordinary. So now, the people are saying that the Bodija Estate Residents Association, they are saying that there's a need to release more funds for the victims of that unfortunate carnage. And they are saying that the earlier support that was provided by the state government was not adequate.
Yeah.
Now, they are saying that even the initial budget, some of the people listed to benefit from the succor that was going to be provided, they removed their names without any
explanation,
cogent explanation.
Yeah.
Now they are saying that only people who, you can see the women crying, they said only people within a 500-meter radius of the epicenter are to be compensated. So the question then is, what is going on? Did people beyond the 500-meter radius, did they lose their homes or not?
Did they get affected?
Did they lose loved ones or not? Because we didn't just lose buildings, we lost human beings, we lost people. So government has to be considerate. If you can see clearly that it's not people within the 500-meter radius of the epicenter that lost buildings, that lost their lives, why are you limiting compensation to only those people who are 500 meters to the epicenter? What kind of idea is that? That is why they've come out to say, look, we want to rebuild our homes, but we're unable to complete the work due to lack of funds. They are saying Governor Makinde should continue with the infrastructure repairs, which include roads and other public facilities, but that he should remember to compensate more people. They are saying that there are families who lost loved ones and have not received any form of compensation or support for the children left behind. So, one of the octogenarians who lost his entire building was said to have received about 1/8 of the amount required to rebuild the house.
Aye.
So what are you going to do with 1/8 of the amount required to build the house? So such people will continue to live in agony. And that's why we expect the government to intervene. These are difficult times in our country.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whatever you can do to wipe the tears from people's eyes. You have to do it. You know, politicians must realize that even if they feel they are not accountable to the ordinary Nigerians, they must realize that they have to be accountable to God.
Oh, yeah.
The ruler of the universe is watching what is going on, and he cannot be happy seeing people suffer. We have an obligation to do something for these Bodija residents.
Let me, as I said, bitter people are not interested in what you have to say. But at a time like this, what they think you are trying to hide.
I think that this tragedy in Bodija is lack of leadership on behalf of the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde. Because when you have a tragedy like this, you cannot, you cannot account for it. You did not wish it. But when it happens like that, it is the duty of government to come to the head of the people involved and provide succor for them.
Yeah.
And I find it very, I don't think it is proper for the governor of a state thinking about what his people have suffered to write to the federal government to say, look, this is the tragedy that we have suffered. And we want the federal government to come to our aid. And the federal government will now advance to 30 billion naira as a result of providing succor for the people. And then you put that money in a bank. That, to me, is inappropriate. I don't want to use the word that will be said about. It's inappropriate because when you take that money and you put it in the bank, it shows how callous that you are. Because if you write the president to say, look, this is the tragedy that has happened in our place, we have to provide for the people and we want the federal government to support us. And they gave you 30 billion. Instead of you to allocate some money and then add the 30 billion to it so that you'll be able to provide enough for the people, you put the 30 billion in an account, in a bank. And then you provide it. So because of that, you were limited in the amount of money that you can provide to provide succor for these people. So that is why some people were not compensated, and that is why you are now insisting that you want to concentrate on people who are 500 meters with every center because of the budget that you were working with. Whereas you have more money to be able to expand that budget. So, and we didn't get to know about the 30 billion until somebody on national television accused the governor of collecting money, which we initially denied, and then they now accepted that, yes, out of the 50 billion, 30 billion was paid, and we put it in an account in the bank.
They just said, and that 30 billion is intact.
It's intact.
People know that, okay, if it's intact, where could it have been kept?
Yes, it has to be in a bank. You won't put it at home.
Nigerians who now started to say, they must have fixed it in a bank.
The deduction. The deduction.
No, they are saying, no, we didn't get 50 that we asked for. But if I would say announced that it was 50 that they gave him. So they now said, no, it's actually 30. They didn't deny that they got money. It's actually 30. And that 30 is intact. So if you say 30 billion is intact, how come it's intact? It must have been because you went to save the money somewhere. And people will say, okay, was it saved with the desire to get some interest on it? People don't want to hear such stories, especially when they are suffering. You have to look at everyone who is a victim and then determine the level of intervention that you can give to each and every one who is a victim. It's not to say, only people who are 500 meters 500 meters radius to the epicenter. No, as long as other people lost their homes, lost loved ones,
outside
you have to accommodate everybody.
Outside of the 500 meters.
Yes. What kind of?
They did that because they didn't want to spend money. Yes,
to limit the number of people who can be compensated.
Whereas if you have added the 30 billion you got from the federal government, it will have given you opportunity to be able to bring in more people into the net for you to be able to do the intervention that is needed. And that is why they should do that, because it is bad enough that people have lost their houses. It will be unfair for them to hear that there is money somewhere,
Yes.
and yet the government is not doing the needful. I don't think that is appropriate.
Again, the appeal from the hangout is simple. Government exists for the benefit of the people and not the other way around. Governor Makinde, the ball is in your court. How you play it, the coming days will tell. Wish you well. Okay, we'll go on a commercial break now, or should return very shortly. Please stay with us. This is journalist